In a secluded mountain temple, far from the clamor of the world, there lived an old monk named Jiro. He had devoted his life to meditation, seeking clarity and enlightenment through deep contemplation. The temple was his sanctuary, a place of solitude where he could focus on his spiritual journey. One evening, as the full moon rose high above the peaks, casting its silver light across the temple grounds, Jiro took his old wooden bucket and walked to the nearby stream to fetch water. The air was crisp and cool, and the sound of the flowing water soothed his mind. As Jiro dipped the bucket into the stream, the surface of the water calmed, and he saw the reflection of the moon within it. The image was so clear, so perfect, that it seemed as if the moon itself had been caught in his bucket. He stood still, mesmerized by the sight, his heart filled with awe at the beauty of the moment. Carefully, Jiro lifted the bucket from the stream and began to walk back to the temple. But as he crossed the narrow bridge, the old wooden handle suddenly broke, and the bucket fell, shattering on the stones below. The water spilled out, and the moon's reflection disappeared with it. For a moment, Jiro stood there, staring at the broken pieces of his bucket and the wet stones, feeling a sharp pang of loss. The image of the moon, so perfect and serene, was gone, just as quickly as it had appeared. But then, as he stood in the stillness of the night, Jiro's heart began to settle. He looked up at the sky and saw the real moon, shining brightly and undisturbed, high above the mountains. In that instant, he realized the truth: the moon had never been in his bucket. It had always been in the sky, whole and untouched. A gentle smile spread across Jiro's face as he understood the lesson that life had just presented to him. He had been so captivated by the reflection in the water that he forgot the true moon was always there, beyond his grasp. The broken bucket and spilled water were not losses, they were reminders of the impermanence of all things and the futility of clinging to them. Jiro bowed his head, a deep sense of peace washing over him. He had spent years meditating, seeking clarity, and now he understood that true clarity comes not from holding on, but from letting go. The moon's reflection was beautiful, but it was just an illusion, a fleeting moment that could never last. The real moon, like the essence of life, was beyond capture, beyond attachment. Returning to the temple, Jiro felt lighter, as if a great burden had been lifted from his heart. He no longer needed the bucket or the reflection it once held. The moon was still shining, as it always had, and always would, no matter what happened on the earth below. From that night on, Jiro's meditation deepened. He learned to let go of his attachments, his desires, and his fears, allowing them to drift away like the water from the broken bucket. He found that in releasing these burdens, his mind became clearer, and his heart more open to the beauty and truth of the present moment. The other monks in the temple noticed a change in Jiro. He moved with a quiet grace, his presence calming those around him. When they asked him what had brought about this transformation, he simply smiled and replied, "No water, no moon." And so, the story of Jiro and the broken bucket became a cherished lesson in the temple, a reminder that true clarity and peace are found not in grasping at illusions, but in letting go of what we cannot hold. The moon, like the essence of life, cannot be captured, it must be appreciated as it is, eternal, unchanging, and free.